Hello, and my name is Michael Grace, and I'm going to be walking you through the RPI software selection, just an overview of this offering, a little bit about what it is and what it can do for you. So without any further ado, we'll go ahead and we'll jump right in. This is the team that makes up Strategic Services that does these types of offerings. I'm myself, Michael Grace. I am with you today. I'm the Director of Strategic Services. I would be joined on an engagement like this by Sarah Kincannon, who's our consultant at large, does a little bit of all the strategic services, and Daniel Cerruti, who's a solution architect with experience across all the modules, as well as helping to produce the deliverables at the end. When we look at the offerings, it's important that you understand who you're talking to. So I'd like to share just a very quick one slider about RPI consultants. We are about 150 people, about 100 of those are actual client-facing consultants doing work like this and other projects. Those include architects like Daniel Cerruti, project managers, and actual consultants and advisory type folks. We have offices located in Baltimore, Phoenix, where I hail from, Tampa, Buffalo, and Kansas City. And we provide services around Infor, Kofax, Highland, and Blue Prism, as well as strategy consulting or strategic offerings that are more around software agnostic offerings, if you will, around planning and strategy. So things like value engineering, business process optimization, and such. We have been in business a long time, over 23 years. And in those, we've helped lots of customers walk through what is usually something that's very complex, software selections. This cartoon kind of outlines it really well. And while you read it, I'll just kind of annotate it. You start off and you say, we need a new ERP or a new EHR or a new budget planning system, or whatever the application is. This methodology and this process generally applies, as does this cartoon, because usually what happens is you have a vision for what you're going to get at the end, and you put an RFP together and you put it out there, and everybody says, yes, 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 we can do all of this. And it's usually because your requirements are generally kind of vague, not really detailed, very easy for the vendors to say, sure, we absolutely do that. And very hard to hold them accountable to at the end when you wind up, with a tree on fire instead of what actually happens. The last two slides are kind of interesting, right? Because if it's not done well in the selection, you do wind up with something that just doesn't quite meet your expectations. But more importantly, your organization, right, just has this horrendous experience, which is really hard to recover from. You lose a lot of trust, you lose a lot of faith that you'll be able to do this again, right? Because what you want to do is say, well, let's just find a different solution. Let's just do this again. And the organization will have zero tolerance to want to go through that again because their experience the first time wasn't great. So what makes them think the second time is going to be any different? So software selections are absolutely critical. It's, almost more critical to make the right choice based on the right requirements than it is to actually go through and get a good implementation, right? You can get a good implementation of the wrong software that doesn't meet your requirements, and you're still going to be missing expectations. So what do we do here to fix it, right? We really spend a bunch of time with our methodology focused on key stakeholder engagement. So that's not just the sponsor, right? That's not that C-level executive saying, this is what I want. It's going through all levels of the users and really understanding, well, that's what this person needs, right? Which is generally a higher level requirement. But what are the people doing the day-to-day work? What do they really need, right? And those requirements are usually very, very different. Similarly, when you look at What does the subject matter experts say? Like, how well is the current solution meeting their needs? In what areas is it meeting their needs, and what areas is it not? Right, the pain points, if you will. Making sure to capture those, whether they're system related or not. Right, they might just be experience related. Also, the subject matter experts then have to partner with an implementation consultant, right? This is somebody that knows your business, somebody who knows the area that you're looking into, as well as perhaps some of the software that's in that space, right? So they can speak not only about selections, that's important, right? But they can also help guide you through making sure that you gather the most relevant requirements. That's really where the experience comes into play and is most valuable. And the technology, the technology aspect is something that we're really proud of. We've kind of got a dual path approach on the technology side. One, it allows us to remain impartial, because you might look at RPI and go, hey, you only do Infor, and maybe Infor isn't going to be your solution. Maybe it's going to be Workday. Maybe it's going to be Oracle. Maybe it's going to be Dynamics, Microsoft product. Maybe you're going to go to SAP, right? Because you have a manufacturing edge. So we really wanted to detach ourselves from that response aspect, right? From putting it to market. We really want to focus on making sure that we gather the right requirements, irregardless of what solution happens on the back end, right? How it's scored and how it's demoed. Those are more mechanical aspects and not really value add aspects in our solution. So we don't really focus that much there, but we will talk about what we do there. So without any further ado, our approach. We go through a 5-stage methodology, right, where we spend time really upfront gathering the requirements. Again, talking to all the SMEs, talking to all the stakeholders, talking to the sponsors, understanding the organization. Then we go through and we leverage some technology, right? This is the common platform that people participate in and actually input the requirements, if you will, by having them do it, right? By pushing a tool out that isn't Excel, right? Everybody knows these Excel spreadsheets that are part of this, they get pushed out that are just cumbersome, and things get overwritten, and you have version control issues, and only one person can be in it at a time, and you just wind up with this mess, right? We really focused on how do we leverage technology? How do we partner with a technology solution that can make that easier, that can make people feel like they can sit here on their phone and they can just enter their requirements, right? It's fairly easy. The market evaluation is a piece where we partner, because we can't know everything and the latest and greatest from Workday and from SAP and from Infor. Well, we do know the latest and greatest from Infor, but what we do here is we focus on a market evaluation done by a third party, right? These are really folks that put this out to the market, that have industry experts that are willing to talk to you, much like a Gartner type of or Forrester type of solution, where you can talk to analysts in the space. They can talk about trends. We'll also share our opinion there. So you get lots of good information in this market evaluation phase. That all culminates in kind of an RFP preparation, right? We've gathered requirements, we've narrowed the field. We're not going to put it out to 20 vendors. We're going to put it out to 3 to 5. And we're going to understand, like, okay, when are we going to get demos? When are we going to get responses? There's like, it's more of a project management task at this point, right? To gather this all together and put it out. And then we're gonna ride along and partner with you as you select a vendor. We're gonna do some what we call pre-planning, right? Really understand, okay, what does that timeline look like? How does that phase? And then we'll help you through some contracting. So if that sounds good, really, again, plan, discover, and validate, right? So when we're planning, we're identifying with your client teams, what are, who should be involved in this, right? So that we make sure, again, that everybody feels like they've been participating in this. So it's not being done to them, it's being done with them. We'll have lots of discussions on kind of what are we trying to do here? What is the transformation that we're trying to go through with the new software? What are, some key challenges perhaps that we're trying to make sure that we accomplish. And then we'll talk about what's in scope, right? Because if you just say finance is really large and vast. It's probably not realistically all of finance. There's probably some that's in, some that's out. So we'll help the organization determine that scope, right? Again, that's building the scope section of an RFP that you need to put out on the street. When we get to discover, we're going to be talking to all levels of the organization. We're really going to be building that list of requirements, if you will. Once it's all in one place, then we're going to review those requirements again with all those levels. So everybody's bought in every step of the way. Everybody understands what we're doing and what the process is. And then we're going to coordinate with everybody to make sure that that they're prepared to move forward. Once we've kind of done that, right, this is where the technology comes in. We have two technology partners in this. One, we call it Powered by Olive. So Olive is a great mobile technology that really makes this process very, very easy to use. You can see how friendly this is. It's not an Excel spreadsheet. It's not hundreds and thousands of lines. So here you're actually building kind of this roadmap, right? Like what it is that we're about to do. Then we go in and we put in all about the organization, right? Everything about your company, the goals that we're trying to do. You can see here the current state, the desired future state. What benefits are we trying to receive out of this? We streamline that gathering process through this being a mobile app or website-based app, right? That again, people can easily put in requirements. You can see they can categorize the requirements, they can rank them and score them and such. Makes it a lot easier. Once they're all in there, we can all start to see these, right? And everybody can kind of vote for them and prioritize them. So your top priority requirements are very quickly identified. Then obviously our partners at Olive will put this out to the street. They will suggest vendors that meet this requirement based on what they've seen so far from hundreds and thousands of other customers. We'll go out and do some notifications to those vendors. The vendors will respond to your individual requirements in a very easy to evaluate and score thing kind of format here. How many times you go out to RFP and they, you get apples and oranges, like you ask the same question, but you ask it to two different people and you get all these different responses and you're like, how do I compare these effectively? So this app does a really nice job of that. What we do is we get a short list, right? So that short list, in this case, prioritizes them, scores them, gives you rankings, very BI friendly, very easy to digest. And once we've kind of got these scored, then we release the RFP for an actual response. Okay. The other partner solution is a little bit more involved. If you need a lot of consultative handholding, you need a lot of industry analysis, then we'll partner with a company called SelectHub. SelectHub takes all of our requirements. They're much more templated. They do have a bit of an Excel spreadsheet type of format, but it's really macro equipped. So again, what we do is we go through this massive list of requirements that Olive also has. We say, yep, this is applicable, this is not. Here's some customer unique requirements, and we put those in. We create a short list. Again, how vendors kind of historically have matched up. They will help you actually kind of price that and give you an idea of which vendors will probably come in at what pricing, so you can kind of benchmark that. The RFP preparation, right, is kind of self-managed in Olive. So if you have a team that's going to work on this and they really just need a tool, but they're going to kind of manage the process, you have a procurement department that's very adept at this, then Olive is probably a better solution in this case. and we will help you create the timelines and answer any questions you have and help you with scheduling and such if you need us to. But again, we'll remain pretty impartial in weighing in on which solution is the best for you, because ultimately your requirements will drive what the best solution is. We do something for our Infor Cloud Suite partners. If you're already a customer, we'll do what's called a Cloud Suite first approach, meaning we will score your requirements based on Cloud Suite functionality, so you can understand how well Cloud Suite compares to your requirements. We feel that's really helpful. Your lowest cost path forward if you're an Infor customer, just because of the technology and the familiarity that your organization has with Cloud Suite, your cheapest path forward, right, from both a personnel perspective and generally a long-term cost will probably be Infor, but cost shouldn't always drive an organization's decision, right? So SelectHub engages a professional services team. So again, a little more hand-holding, a little more advisory, and those come at different pricing tiers. That really is just a straight pass-through from RPI. We just help you essentially contract for that service from SelectHub, and we're upfront about all those costs if this is an option you wish to pursue. I'm sorry. So you really get kind of a current state assessment. We look at your environment, we listen to all the requirements, we'll give you an assessment of how your organization is doing with your current platform. We will create a requirements traceability matrix, right? That's again a bit of that comparison to Cloud Suite. We will do a market survey and make a recommendation on where we think the top 3 ERP platforms that you should go look at really are which ones are really applicable. We will also go through and do a Cloud Suite analysis. How well does that compare to the requirements? And then we'll do software recommendations, obviously help you with that, and then the release and management of your RFP. So that's it. It moves fairly quickly. One of the biggest assets that we want to stress around this is sometimes you know what to do. It's just having somebody hold your organization accountable to go through the steps in a timely fashion so that your software selection doesn't take 3 months, 6 months, right? That there's somebody managing you through this process to help you get through it very quickly, very efficiently, with the right requirements and the right software solution. Happy to talk to anybody about that. My email is down below, mgrace@rpic.com. We hope that you have a great selection process, and we're happy to help at any point that we can. So with that, I want to thank you for listening to the video. And again, if we can answer any questions. Thanks.